everybody, and welcome to another video. And in today's video we're going to be looking at lists and building lists for 40k, and mainly looking at my list I'm going to be building towards for maybe events and casual pickup games. So get a brew, get comfortable, and let's get waffling. Okay, so looking at lists. So this is kind of a, I don't know, an update on the Howling Griffons project, and it's also a little bit of look of building upon the whole stepping back into 40k in a playing way. And after last week's game, I kind of learned quite a bit and got me a lot of ideas. So when I started the Howling Griffons project, I didn't really have an army in mind. I kind of just went, ooh, those new Terminators look really cool. I want them, got 2 units, started painting them up, and then went, ooh, that captain model's really cool. I want it. You kind of get the gist. So there was no real thought of an end goal of a list. I kind of just got models that I really liked and wanted to paint, and what I thought would look really cool in the red and yellow quartered scheme. But after my first game, I realized, especially with Prior Nexus, that units are a must. You need to have quite a few units on the tabletop to be able to dominate, take objectives, and everything else. And playing a bit of competitive Age of Sigmar, I kind of started getting my head into the list of thinking, right, I need units that are going to go forth and kill things in close combat. I need units that are going to be able to hold the mid-table, and I obviously need units in the backfield that are going to be able to hold home objective, as well as put some punishment on to my enemy. And then I was like, right, so what have I got? What do I need? And how do I make that 2k list? So I have used the 40k app. Haters are going to hate, you know, I don't pay for it. I am using my one free army list, and it'll probably get deleted after I've used it for a while. But, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over and I'm going to bring up what I'm bringing into the list. So, first things first, we have my Warlord, which is the jump pack captain. Yes, he is going to be running around, and obviously I haven't changed all the weapons here, so people may notice I'll be talking about what the unit loadout, but I haven't actually changed it in the app when I've taken the photos. So he will have the Thunderhammer and Storm Shield, and there is a video up on the channel now where you can go and watch him being built and me talking about sub-assembling. And there will also be a painting video coming up into my members area for a more character-focused painting video rather than just the line normal bog standard army painting, which is coming up on the normal regular YouTube. So the idea for this guy is I want him in, I want him to smash things. He's got the enhancement that will give him +1 strength, I believe, and do other stuff if I'm in the assault phase. Basically really doubling down on his close combat potential. And obviously Thunderhammer, yes, it hits on 3s. It's not a power fist. I do love my power fists, but it will still should do some work. And he has 6 wounds and the 4 invulnerable save. He will obviously be supported by a unit of assault marines as well. Next, I also have a chaplain in Terminator armor. This is a model that I already had and painted up. There's a tutorial up on the channel for him. And he's been given the shield, mainly because shields look cool. And yeah, they're obviously not what I expected them to be. I was quite shocked when I got my codex and read that it's actually +1 wound rather than like an additional save modifier and stuff. But he is in Terminator armor, 4 invulnerable anyway. Next is the Lieutenant. He's basically got a power fist and a plasma pistol because, again, this army is very much inspired from 2nd edition, end of Rogue Trader days, where power fists were everywhere because power fists were cool and they were the big weapon that you had on your Marines. You know, we didn't have fancy, you know, Thunderhammers and Lightning Claws and fancy swords in those days. We just had a big-ass fist. So that's what I've gone for. Big fist, plasma pistol, because rule of cool. And then obviously we have, to round out my sort of HQ characters, Bobby G. Now this is a model that I really wanted to paint, and you've probably seen a few of my short videos of my progress with him, and decided to do him in non-metallic metal. Yeah, it's taken a while, lots of trim, really regretting that decision, but he will look good by the time I'm finished, and he is obviously the centerpiece of the army. Really wanted the Primarch. Howling Griffons are a Ultramarine successor, so it kind of made sense getting him. Now, at some point, I will get Lionel Johnson, and I could essentially play my army as Dark Angels. I know all the Ultramarine fanboys out there have literally just raged at me, and I'm probably typing really angrily and furiously that I would even dream of doing such a thing. But Lionel Johnson's a really cool model, and I would like the opportunity to paint that model too. So I can do that because I'm not essentially painting my army blue. They are yellow and red. I can kind of get away with it. All right, so next up is my battle line units. So I've kept it quite simple. I've taken 3 units of intercessors. Now, I didn't have these. These are something that I've realized I kind of need. Hunted around my bits box and found 10 of them, so I'm probably going to have to get another 5 at some point. This is kind of subject to change. I know I'm definitely going to have 2 units. The 3rd unit may change to something else, but probably not. I do quite like the idea of scouts. Quite like scouts. And then they're going to be basically standard loadout. The sergeants will probably have power fists because, again, power fists. And lots of guns. My idea for these is not so much to being at the forefront of the fight, kind of hanging around mid-table and in my deployment zone, sort of holding home objectives and mid-table objectives, and kind of just supporting fire in with as the close combat elements move forward to kill things. Then obviously we have our next set of units. We have the Assault Intercessors, which there are 10 of. Obviously, this is the unit that will be supporting the big captain. He will be leading this unit and giving them the buffs, and this is going to be my main sort of hammer, along with Gilliman and some of the other units that are going to go forth and start killing the enemy. In my head, that sounds like really cool. In practice, that's probably not going to happen. But cool, you know, I'll stick with the narrative, even though I'm going to try to be a filthy tournament player. Then we have the Bastillus Dreadnaught. I already had this because I bought the starter set, the sort of £60 starter set where I got the Terminators, the Captain, and I got the Dreadnaught, and then I got the Flamey Marines, which I probably won't ever build or use because I don't really like them. I really like this Dreadnaught. It's basically just a walking gun platform, and it looks really, really cool on the table. So my idea is probably to try to sit back and really sort of use its range to the best effect. Maybe have it sitting on a home objective if I really need to, or nearby if I really need to. So this is basically like my fire support element to my army. Next up, we have my Blade Guard veterans. You can't have a Howling Griffons army without a unit of Blade Guard. All of the artwork shows Blade Guard in it. They just really are cool models. Big swords, big shields, proper knights, and that's what the chapter's about. So I've got a unit of 3, and this is what the lieutenant will be leading, giving them that +1 to wound, which should come in quite handy. And next we have a normal standard Redemptor Dreadnought. Haven't massively come out with what weapon to use yet. Kind of quite like the Gatling, pardon me, I quite like the Gatling gun because of the devastating wounds, but then I also really like the plasma macro cannon because it just sounds cool. Plasma macro cannon, like that just sounds as though it's going to do a lot of damage. No idea if it will or not, so let me know in the comments which one you think I should go for, because I've not actually built the arms yet. And then I've got one of my favorite things in my army, which is the Repulsor Executioner. This is a model I've always wanted and really chuffed when I got it. And I just need to finish painting off the turret, and then it's done. And it looks so good in the yellow and red color scheme. And I was shocked in last week's game of just how much firepower this thing can do. And I mean, it shredded a Custody Guard Warden unit. It was just so good. So it is definitely going to be sitting back and doing a lot of hurt on people. I really, really like it. And then to round out my list, I've got 2 units of normal Terminators. Now, I would like Assault Terminators, but they haven't been given, we haven't got a new updated Assault Terminator kit. I imagine that they will come at some point in the future. But so far, we've just got the 2. So I've got one of the multi-part kits, and I've got the sort of the ones from the starter set from the came in the Leviathan box. So basically, one unit's going to have an assault cannon because assault cannons are cool, and I'm also going to give the other unit a Cyclone missile launcher. Now, I'm not overly sure yet if I'm going to go full 2 units of 5 or have 1 unit of 10 and then have the chaplain leading this big blob of Terminators. And I kind of like the Terminators. One, they're kind of resilient. They're pretty tough because they're toughness 5 and 2 wounds. But also the fact that, with the chaplain giving them feel no pain, I can also deep strike them, so it kind of gives me a unit that I can drop anywhere on the table for a little bit of board control, you know, jumping in the backfield, maybe trying to get an objective, and I can kind of have that. It's something that kind of cool. Now, I could obviously drop units and bring in things like drop pods for the intercessors and things like that, but this is kind of where I'm going to start off with. Obviously, there's options and changes there. But yeah, that's pretty much my starting list. So I thought this video would be kind of cool because obviously some people trying to get into 40k may be a little bit off put by how the army construction for 40k works, because basically there isn't much of it. You just have to take a character and then you can have any units you want, but only the maximum of 3 units of one type of data slate. And then if they're battle line, you can have a maximum of 6. And that's pretty much it. So I've kind of sort of tried to do that. Battle line, obviously, I've got my 3 battle line units, and then everything else is just basically 1 or 2 units. So I've got a clear plan in how to do the army and how to play it. And obviously I'm using the Gladius detachment because it's pretty much the easiest one to learn. And then I can kind of sort of jump into like the tank heavy one if I really wanted to, or some of the others. But that's kind of the plan. I'm sure there's probably other people out there that will rip this list apart. Feel free to do so in the comments. I don't mind. You know, feedback is good. You know, I'm pretty sure like Steve from Vanguard Tactics will laugh at my list for not being very competitive. I think it's potentially got play because I can do a lot of things. It's kind of like it's not just earmarked completely into close combat or completely into long range shooting. It kind of has a little bit of mix, and Gilliman will do work because he's an absolute monster. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think, and also while you're there, hit that subscribe button, like the video, ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos, and obviously check out the members area and the Patreon area if you want to see some extra, more, bigger content, okay? And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye for now.